All right, all right, all right. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so excited to share with you guys this info today. It dropped in. So how my life operates and works for those that are new to this channel, new to me. I am a channeler, and consistently all the time I lean into the energy of how can I serve and what's needed to move through the collective of energy and what do we need today and desire to be able to feel. So wherever you're seeing this video, whether it's like a year later or it's the same day that I post it, it's relevant for you in this period of time. So what was dropping in today was to talk about how to access higher levels of consciousness, meaning how do we tap into our guides? How do we tap into the ascended masters, the archangels? And yeah, it's all based in intention. But each of us has a certain pathway of energy, meaning we all come down to earth with certain blueprints of energetic codes, certain imprints inside of our DNA, imprints in our energetic fields around us. And for those of you that aren't in that awareness, you have an energetic field around you. You have a field of energy. And in that, every time you do clearing work, every time you do work, like Reiki work, movement of energy work, where you realign chakras, or you do Kundalini, or you step into this space of like meditation, we create and activate new imprints in our DNA and inside of the codes of energy that surround us. So when this happens, we have access to be able to heighten our connection to different types of entities. So that could be, extraterrestrial. Some of you guys float around and astral travel to other dimensions. Some of that is ascended master work. Like I connect really, really well to Egyptian goddesses. I am now channeling different other entities and mystics. I work a lot with the wizard realm and Merlin and his team, dragon realm, all of those types of energy. So as we continue to elevate our energetics, we open up this pathway of connection. Now, most of us don't know or maybe understand consciously that this is a possibility for us, but each of us has this ability within us to connect to different dimensions, to connect to different energies. And most of the time we start off in either two spaces: our higher self connection, connecting to our soul, and our guides. So let's go into this a little bit because I think this is important. So within us, we all have a soul, right? It resides in our heart center right here in this heart chakra, our sacred heart temple, Akashic records work, everything is done through this heart. And we have this version of us, we are in this human form, in this physical body, having this experience right here on earth. We've had multiple experiences in past lives throughout the laneway, throughout the times in our life, the movement of that moving through our collective of energy. But we also have this higher self connection. So before we jumped into this meat suit, our soul was like, okay, I'm in for this process. I'm in for all these things. I want to experience this dynamic to life. And we jump into our meat suit. But we keep this connection to our higher self, to other parts of our soul, to the past lives, other dimensions, to all of the wholeness of us. This right here is one portion of our pathway, just one. Of multiples, hundreds for some of us. We're incarnated in different timelines, different dimensions right now. And sometimes that baffles our human brain to understand, but that is actually a reality and a real thing moving through. But when we drop into our heart right here, that connection is to the purity of our truth, is to the purity of all these past lives, is to the purity of our talents, skill sets, abilities right here in this mission here on earth. Right? And it pulses through this heart. It pulses and moves through this entity within us. And that is the first connection we usually feel. Listening to our intuition, connecting to our soul, feeling that vibration move through. And some of us actually lead with potentially our guides or angels, depending on what you choose to call them. All of them are other dimensional beings here to serve us. We all have spirit guides. Some of our spirit guides, though, have been playing tricks on some of us because they are not in purely love, light, and truth. If you have not checked your guides lately, I would suggest that you drop in to do that. And you may be like, I don't know how to do that. You drop into your heart and ask the questions. Are all my guides purely of love, light, and truth? And if not, you can fire your guides and call in new ones. This is a process I do with clients consistently all the time whenever I do clearings, when I first start working with people, to be able to help them step into this space and move through this energy, right? So that dynamic is showing up. but we have guides that are in our lives to help serve our energetics, to help serve us on this mission on earth. We have one main guide that drops in with us and is consistently with us our whole life. And then we have other guides that drop in to help serve depending on what we're up to and what we're doing, right? And where we are in our purpose in life and where we are on the mission and what is needed at this time that we're dealing with. And we can call on them at any time. We can add more. We can bring in more. We can, literally, let's say you're having a health scare, you can bring in some people. Like when I am using technology and shit's hitting the fan, I go, okay, I need a guide here who specializes in this. Can you drop into this field right now and help me with this, right? And move stuff through. You need more protection, you bring more in. And those are the two main connections that we consistently work within in the human world. It makes sense to us because if you grew up in a really religious background, like church oriented or going, to different types of seances or whatever it is, some people grew up in very regimented, more religious dynamics. You still believe in a higher power, higher consciousness, or angels, some of you believe in. So the conversation of guides and the conversations of our Holy Spirit within us makes sense to religious people. And those are usually the first tiers that move through. I had a conversation one day with my mom, and a couple years ago, she was really on this train of Jesus is coming back to save everybody and you just need to talk to Jesus. And I said to my mom, I was like, Mom, I love and adore you. I really do. And I appreciate your hindsight. And I love that you are leaning into this for yourself. But Jesus and I talk all the time. I channel Jesus. I drop into his space. I get answers from him. He leads some of my circles that I do, or he drops in to help support some of the dynamics, especially when I channeled Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. Of course, those are two big entities that are really connected into Yeshua or Jesus's energy field, right? Yeshua is his higher self. And so I usually speak to Yeshua in the work that I do because Jesus was one form of entity, one human experience that soul brought to the earth. And I said to her, Mom, you lean in wherever you need to lean in. But me and Jesus, we're good, man. I talk to him all the time. I drop into him. I move through him. And that is almost like the next level of us being able to tap into our ancestors, our, ascended masters, the archangels. I work a lot with Archangel Michael in his purity of form, his purity of love, light, and truth form. Metatron drops in for grounding for a lot of my clients and programs. Gabriel was in our field a few weeks ago in one of the sessions I was teaching. But I work a lot with Isis and Hathor has really helped me open up my throat chakra to be able to own and speak different light languages, right? So we have access to this. So why I wanted to do this video today was to remind you that you do too. You have access to tapping in to any kind of deity that's ever been in human form or non-human form on this earth plane to serve the energetic field. You have this capacity just like I do. Now you need to start believing in it and tapping into it if you choose to want to. So a lot of you guys are inclined to different energies. You are inclined maybe to Buddha, or you're inclined to Green Tara, or you're inclined to Shakti, or Durga, or Kali, or any of these deities. Ascended masters like Kuan Yin, or like Mary Magdalene I already mentioned, and inside of you is this connection. And maybe you've worked with them before. Maybe you are an incarnate of them. Right? Maybe you are part of their bloodline when they were on earth. It's hard to say where it all falls into pieces, but when you are inclined to lean into a certain energetic capacity, to lean into a certain energy code, in that there's an imprint for you. And maybe you're scared. And some of you guys have deities in your house. Like you bought a Buddha, or you have an elephant infrastructure, which actually, the elephant represents another deity, another god came into form through the elephant, right? So what I want to encourage you guys today is really start to lead with your heart and lean into this and listen to the whisper. Because these energies are actively on earth right now in their energetic capacity forms to help serve humanity's ascension, to help shine light brighter into the world, to help us move that needle in the light needed to dismantle and shine brighter into that shadow so we can bring it to the surface to clear. But without them, and without having them lead us in that truth, because most of us don't remember our truth. We've been conditioned to stay diminished and conformed, especially in this day and age. We have been literally pushed down in the capacity that we are holding right now, so that we can't see, feel, hear it any longer. And those of us that are awakening, which if you are watching this video and you are at this exact point of time in the video, you are awakening. If you are not already awakened, you are awakening. Now, I am awakening to different levels. I have been through this process for the last 14 years consciously. I have been through this process, I think, my whole entire adult life, but didn't recognize it when I was in my teens and didn't recognize it in my early 20s. It wasn't until 28 years old where I made a decision to step into this space and actually move with a spiritual mentor to accelerate, to activate, to move it through, to clear, to honor, to understand. But it took that long, right, for me to get there. And 28 years old is a young age. However, I did have a lot of experiences over the last 14 years that I needed to move through, and I'm still in a lot of experiences that I need to move through, just like you are, right? We're all in different levels and different stages right now, and each of us, though, at this stage has a mission right now that we need to move through within ourselves and through the collective of energetics in the world. And each mission is unique to each soul, right? My mission and your mission are not the same mission. However, my light is needed now in this world just like yours is, right? And the more we step in to activate this, and the more we listen to these ancestral healings, to this actual truth in the ancestral lineage, we start digging up all of the truth that's been buried, because it has been, and we lean into these ancestors that have walked the earth before in this truth in the past, and allow them to help us to step into this space. How do we lead in their energy? How do we take the knowledge from them? How do we step into this so that we can collapse time, so we can change the frequency, so that we can step into our mission here on earth and literally shine the fuck out of the light? That's our mission right now. That is it. Shine as brightly as we can, no matter what. No matter what your mom thinks, no matter what your partner thinks, no matter what is going through the collective of energy, no matter who's trying to diminish you, your truth and your light right now matter, period. And when we lean into this ancient philosophy, we lean into these ancient teachings, which are not actually ancient, they just are. They're a purity of energy, and we lean into this truth and we start to work with them to step into our space. We can collapse time faster. We can understand truth deeper. We can move through things quicker. And that's the objective. So that is what I want to impart on you today. I want you to feel that inside of you. I want you to lead within that. I want you to feel that connection within you to step into that space. And consciously make a decision today to start to align in that, to start to feel that vibration moving through you, to start to move things forward. And with that being said, apparently I'm getting a visitor, so I'm going to pop off now, and I will see you guys in another video soon. Hold space in your light, my friend.